Life is crazy, but crazy can be good. In the same way, stress doesn't have to be a bad thing. In fact, stressing can actually be a blessing once you know how to use it for good. So if you're tired of feeling spread too thin, racing against the clock, tired and wired at the same time, join us right now to explore the simple strategies experts use to shift stress in an instant. Learn how to transform your relationship with stress. I'm your host, Dr. Heidi Hanna. Now, let's get ready to recharge.
So another thing I learned over the years, how to manage stress, it's a very simple formula. And when I look back on all my accomplishments that I'm proud of, I can see that I used that formula maybe unconsciously, but did. And what the formula is, it's intention, attention, and no tension. And
my friend, you've given me that formula so many times, and we've talked anytime I'm dealing with something. I knew you were going there.
Well, I think it works.
Intention, attention, no tension.
Right. And the part of no tension is very challenging for people who have A-type personality or, alphas or very driven people. We want to control things. And this formula says you can control your idea of what you want. You can control how much energy you spend getting this idea to become reality. But then if you can manage no tension, then the universe will take care of details and let the universe do that.
So what does that mean to you? I go in so many different directions and thinking about some of the people we're going to be talking about over this entire series about really kind of physiological calm and psychological calm. What does that mean to you to be in a state of no tension?
The best place it's I can tell you, when I'm meditating, I highly recommend it because that's a skill. That's a yoga. Basically, it's a decision that you make and say, I'm going to spend 20 minutes in finding space between my thoughts. I'm not going to think about anything. And it's not easy to do. Again, for people who are highly motivated, constantly something comes up. So what I do, I have sticky notes next to me. And I meditate and I don't open my eyes. If idea comes to me that I think is valuable, I just jot it down on a sticky note. Sometimes I can't read it because, I'm not looking what I'm writing. However, majority of time I can read it and I can read it later. So I dismiss it for a moment, but I'm not wasting it. So meditation is my number one to go to, and if you can do it regularly, it's just a wonderful investment. Jerry Seinfeld been meditating since the 70s, and it didn't do bad for him in his career.
He's doing all right.
I think he's doing fine. Yeah, we will not do a charity event for Jerry, So,
although we could have him at our charity event.
That would be nice. Yes, that would be good. Exactly. So
I have a question for you. Yeah. Well, I was going to ask you a question. I mean, so many comedians, we hear these stories that they've had these difficult, challenging lives and they've dealt with a lot of stress. Do you feel like in your life, like the challenges you've faced or the stressors that you've had have actually helped you to develop some of your comedy or even your perspective on life?
Yes. Yeah, I think so. And, I grew up in the former Soviet Union, so we invented stress.
Thank you for that. Yeah.
You bet. Pleasure. We aim to please. Yeah. So, but that's where it all started. So every day was very stressful, surviving, just making, finding things for yourself that you need to survive on. and that was normal lifestyle. So but lucky for me, I was living in, with funny people, my parents, who knew that if you can get to the place where there is a lot of love, then laughter will follow. And so I learned since I was a child that when there was laughter, I knew there was love. And and I'm not talking about like facetious laughter or embarrassing laughter, like when you're embarrassed. I'm talking about healthy laughter, belly laugh, with the ones that you get when you're with your friends and your needs are met and you feel surrounded with that care and love and all the positive emotions. The endorphins just flood you, and then just a little bit of humor, it just triggers that laughter. So paying attention to laughter is very important. And I've been, how much I research on relationships. I find that laughter and relationships, they're very connected, because in the beginning of the relationship, romantic one, we experience a lot of laughter. And there is a wonderful article in Time magazine, The Science of Laughter, and they're saying first comes laughter, then comes marriage. That's the name of the article. And they're explaining why it's so important. And I asked thousands, actually probably millions of people in my theater, I would ask, how many of you would go on a second date if you didn't have laughter on the first date? And no one. It's silence. So I'm saying, think about how powerful that tool is, that you would not you would not marry the person you're with today if there was no laughter from the beginning. And it's a gauge that tells you, I'm not stressed, I'm surrounded by love, and a little bit of humor triggers it, and we're off and running.
Yeah, I know, the kind of neuroscience of laughter is so powerful as this non-conscious cue of safety. So when we're laughing, we're really communicating to each other powerfully that there is trust, there is a relationship, there is no threat around us. Like, we wouldn't laugh if there was actually a threat that would be leading to stress. So in some ways, it's contagious in the positive side, the same way that many of our stress behaviors are contagious in a negative way when we're not careful about how that can kind of flow over. So,
if you enjoyed today's show and you want to hear the full interview with today's guest, you can check it out on the Stress Mastery podcast, which will be linked to in today's show notes and on our podcast page at HeidiHanna.com/podcast. Please be sure to subscribe to both shows if you want to be first to know about all of our new episodes and have instant access to our exclusive listener gifts. Until next time, please remember that our time is only valuable when we're able to bring our full and best energy. So it's up to each of us to recharge regularly. So please be good to yourself, and I'll see you next week.